This morning we are walking up that. I don't know if you can see, but there's a castle here. And we're going up it. It's leg day. It's about 1,000 steps. 999 steps to be exact. You know how you don't remember trauma? If you've been in a car crash before, you know what it's like when...
You can't compare a car crash to walking up a castle.
Well, this is how I like to explain the trauma memory thing. So if you've been in a car crash, me personally, when I try to remember a car crash, it's just like bang, and it's next thing you know you're upside down in the car and it's done.
Have you been in a car crash?
Yeah, when I was young. Me and Dad we were reversing out of a kindy, and after we picked up Brady, and we got smashed by this. We're in a 4-wheel drive and we got hit by this guy in a Honda Civic, and the car flipped over. He was going real fast, man, and an All Black pulled me out. Pretty sure it was an All Black. I don't know. I was too young to remember. That's how I remembered it anyway. Dad said something about that anyway, and had this car crash. And then next thing you know, you're upside down. You don't remember the whole. Anyway, your body doesn't like to remember trauma, so I can't remember if we. I think I vaguely remember hating this walk that we're about to do. But you know what? It's probably better to do it in the morning, because we're gonna have we're gonna be in the shade. Palamidi Fortress. Palamidi. All right, let's go to Palamidi.
What's the car crash got to do with the steps?
Trauma. I don't know. Let's go. Oh, look, they got breakfast. What have they got? Oh, they got a mad feed. Nah, fasting today. Babe, that breakfast looked really nice. You see on the top there how there's that Rio bar sticking out? In one of my other videos I spoke about it, but it turns out in Greece what they like to do is have the building unfinished. They'll pretty well finish it, but they'll just leave the Rio bar sticking out of the roofs. And the reason why that is because if it's something to do, some sort of tax loophole, whereas in the properties it's incomplete property, and because the property is incomplete, there's some sort of, I don't know, tax loophole to it, and it's all throughout Greece. Like entire suburbs just have Rio bar sticking out. If you check out some of the other Greek videos I have, you'll see it. I'll point it out when I can. But it's crazy. You go through entire towns where every building just has Rio bar sticking out of the roof. Well, from here all the way out to the peninsula on the other side, there's a Venetian fortress. It goes the whole way, and it goes all the way out to the ocean, and it acts like a big retaining wall, and it goes around the whole peninsula. On the other side of here, see this wall? On the other side, there's a little beach. Where the beach is, where the wall is on the other side, there's like an entrance, like a doorway. It takes you inside this structure. I'm not game enough to go in there. I get real afraid of dark, tight places. But you can fully go in there. You can walk in there. There's this big bay, a massive bay here. You can see on the mountains around, there's castles on top of the hills. And at night time, they turn on this really nice warm lighting on each of the castles, and you can just see them lit up around. It's awesome. I was going to send the drone up here this morning to show you guys the stairs we're about to climb. But the lighting's not the best because the sun's on that side of the mountain. Luckily, the other day I came here at night and I sent the drone up just to capture what the fortress looks like at night time. You'll get an idea of the warm lighting that I'm talking about. But I'll slot that footage in here right now just so you can see the fortress, what we're about to climb. And you can see the warm lighting all at once, I suppose. 20 euros. Oh, no drones.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tie the gate up so no one can get in, then wouldn't you like at least take all the bottles and cans out? I reckon this spot, this is where you would have got pumped from archers. If you come up trying to invade, you would have just been whacked. Bang, bang, bang. See, look, they got one for head height, then they got one for lower. But maybe that was where the spotter was. And they just pumped you from there. Oh, oh look, comes up to here. Oh, that's pretty neat, eh? I'm not going out there, that's scary. I reckon someone definitely got thrown off there once upon a time. Hey, like there would have been a guard, you know, in the PlayStation games, when you're sneaking into the fortress. Stealth mode on Assassin's Creed, and there's usually like a guard sitting here, sleeping or something. 100%, someone would have been thrown off there. Whew. Bro, while I was yapping shit away about that fucking, I don't know, throwing people off a cliff, my battery died. So I had to pin it back to the hotel. Just pinned it back to the hotel to get a fresh batteries. Renee wasn't happy, man. I'm gonna try, she was about halfway up when I turned around. I'm gonna try beat her to the top so she's not waiting. Oh, this is what happens when you don't pay attention, eh? It's a recurring problem with me. Bro. Hey look, the spindaries. If you don't know what a spindari is, you need to culture yourself. But I just ran from up there, where that building is, all the way back to the hotel. Bro, you can't even see the hotel. Oh. Bro, I was just chilling there, getting my breath back right there. And I look up and I see this rock with big cracks in it. Fuck that. Chilling out and a big rock come crashing down on you. Hey. Woo! That fool fucked me, man. I've done that all for the tube. Committed to the cause. How long did I take? You didn't time it. Bro. Oh, I think they might have a cafe here. Need to get some liquid enthusiasm. I went like this. I'm getting a Freddo espresso. What it is, I think Freddo means cold or ice. Once they prepare the coffee, they put it into like a milkshake maker with ice cubes, and they blend it. They like spin it around in the milkshake maker. It doesn't blitz it. It doesn't smash up the ice. It just shakes it up to make it the water a bit frothy. I'll show you. Bro, they've all put milk in it. I guess I broke my fast. You see how it's frothy? Or maybe it does. No, it does have milk in it, I think. It's got a little bit of milk. But when they don't add the milk, it still goes frothy. We don't have much time here because we've got to check out soon. But you can full walk underneath and come up this way, and it takes you onto the other side. It's already 10:15, we've got to get back and check out. Full paid $80 just to come in here and do a little... No, that's the way you go to the other side. This way. I'll share a story with you. It's kind of like an insight to what it was like an aspect of having a deaf mum and dad. But when I was young, I couldn't really speak. There's heaps of things I couldn't say to my parents. It took me a long time to learn the sign language words to have a conversation. You know, so like what I could talk about at, say, you know, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, I was limited in what I could talk about just because I didn't have the knowledge to use my hands. You know what I mean? I was probably, I reckon, it was when I got to Australia. It was like, I remember I was in Australia when I remember going, holy, I can actually have a full convo with mum and dad. I would have been maybe 11 or 12 when I could actually like have like a talk with them, you know. Anyway, when I was young, there's this memory, it sticks out. I'm sure there's many more like it. As I remember them, I'll pull out my phone and I'll write a note down so I can remember, so I can talk about it. I was in the car with my cousin Tom and my uncle Cam, and I was real young. Tom's like 2 years younger than me. That's Alex's little brother. Anyway, Tom, he's 2 years younger than me. I think 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. And he was in a booster seat, like a baby car seat thing. So he would have been getting to that age where he's about to graduate from booster seat to normal seat. Anyway, I was real shy, like, and then, like, I don't know, I felt awkward talking to like people that could hear, like adults that could hear. I felt real I don't know if embarrassed is the word, maybe intimidated. And anyway, it was early in the morning. I don't know where we were going. We're in Wellington, and we were driving along, and I forget what area it is, but we're on like a highway or some main road, and onto the right hand side of us there's a train track. I'm sure if they're listening to this, they'll know the train track I'm talking about, but it's the one that heads towards like the city, I think. And there's like there must be a port there or something. But Tom was in the booster seat, so he could have been 3, he could have been 4, I don't know. So if I'm 2 years older than Tom, I would have been like 5 or 6. And I don't think I was 6, man. Anyway, there was a train drove by, a train. And I asked, on the back of the train, in my brain back then, there were red and there were green and like dark blue boxes. And in my head, I thought they were like Lego boxes. My cousin Tom, he had heaps of Lego, right? I used to love playing with it. And I just thought in my head, I was like, how do those boxes stick on the train? Like, there must be Lego bricks that stick on the train. And anyway, I could see on the train that there were people inside the carriage, right? There's people in the carriage. You can see them through the windows of the train. I knew it was a train. And as the train drove by, I would always look at those boxes, and I would always be like trying to think what was the purpose of those colorful boxes. And my whole, like, for as long as I could remember up until this point, I used to always look at those boxes, and I used to always wonder what was in the boxes. Because when I asked my dad, I'd ask my dad, what's in those boxes? Like, but I couldn't say what's in the box. Like, I was like, Dad, that train, what's that? Like, huh? Like, what's that? And my dad's response, this is how my dad would respond to me. He'd be like, train, and he'd say it like that. And he would make like a sound of like a train running. I don't even know how he knows the fucking sound of a train, but he would be like, train, and that's what he would. When I asked him what was that was the answer he gave me, right? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, I know it's a train, Dad. I want to know what's in the box, but I couldn't ask what was in the box. Oh, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I asked my cousin Tom. I'm like, oi, cuz, what do you reckon's in those boxes? And I remember saying it real, like, sort of quiet, because I didn't want to disturb Uncle Cam driving. And then Tom just straight away goes, I don't know, I'll ask Dad. And I was like, no, don't. And then he asked his dad anyway. And straight away, Tom's in the back seat of the car, and he just asked his dad, and then his dad told him what was in the train. He's like, oh, the boxes, what do you call them? They're storage containers. They are bringing in goods into the country. They're on the way to the port right now. And then Tom would have asked, like, oh, why? Or something like that. And I remember Uncle Cam's response to it was like, oh, well, you know, your toys and your little Lego and whatever, he's like, they come from like China, and those trains' job is to transport all your toys all over the country and other things. And that straight away, that's like the response that Tom got. That Uncle Cam was driving and Tom was just sitting in the passenger seat, or in the back seat. And I just remember straight away being real, like, jealous, like being real jealous that he could just ask his dad that and just be told. Because like, I'd always have to, like, I just always hit these like these barriers, and with trying to figure shit out growing up. You know how you ask mum and dad stuff, and I'd always hit these barriers where I just knew mum and dad couldn't, like, they couldn't fulfill the like the need I had to want to know what it was, you know. Yeah, and I remember that fucking stuck out with me, and ever since then I was just like, yeah, I was just taken back by that. And I just knew straight away, I was like, fuck, I didn't know the word at the time, but when I look back at it, I was at a disadvantage. I just felt like I was majorly disadvantaged. But I think, like, as a result of that, like, a good thing that came from all of that is I spent like so much time living in my imagination. Bro, it's hard to not fucking get like a sore throat thinking about this, you know. It does cut deep. But yeah, like, I think as a result from all of that, I spent so much time like in my imagination that I just let my imagination run wild, you know. So I think that's like, a big part to why I ended up being so like free-spirited and like, I don't know, just fucking all over the place, maybe. But yeah. The one I was going to talk about, but I decided not to, because it's like requires a bit more sort of focus, I think, is one about like God and my dad, what he would talk to me about, like God, you know. I won't go into that, but yeah, that's kind of a cool chat, that the one of our dad and God. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna try and catch up to Renee. She gapped it ahead of me. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, gotta go back, have a shower, get freshened up, ready for the road trip. We're driving, so we're gonna drive. I've got it in the map we're gonna stick to the coast road the whole way. We're not going on any highway. We're probably gonna drive on dirt roads at some point, but we're gonna go the coast way, all the way around, all the way like this way. And because you can see on the other side of the ocean, there's that land. We're gonna go all the way down there, and we're staying at a villa, and there's some kind of like that's what I call it, like the Grand Canyon. There's like a town with a Grand Canyon on it. What I do is when I plan the trip, I'll travel the whole thing on Google Maps, and then I'll plan a route, you know, and I'll get the timing of A to B, like the distance between A to B, and like, I full plan it, man. And I look at it, what it's like on the road from the Google Street View thing. And there was near the accommodation, I remember there being like a Grand Canyon thing. It's cool. It's like red rock fucking canyon backdrop behind this town. I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. I'll cut it there.